Nostalgic here. Can my consciousness break the time-space barrier? I have some questions that I wrote a list of questions in August 2019. Now, some of them are very prescient in current day events and reality. These are the questions. Does intelligence agencies give talking points to the media and instructs them on no-go subjects? Why are checkpoints becoming a common police tactic? What is the true purpose behind the True ID? Is facial recognition cameras and systems true purpose to deter crime and terrorism, or is it a part of a control grid? Do presidents have the power to disrupt the status quo, or are they kept in line by any means necessary, including blackmail? Is there an intentional effort to have a permanent underclass to perform the menial work and garner a reliable voting bloc of dependent constituents? Or that means they're going to be voting most likely Democrat. Is independent and creative thinking discouraged in our educational institutions? Why aren't math and science held in high regard in our current culture, at least up to the standards of rappers and electric beats or whatever, reggae, whatever? Was the drug war manufactured by then President Richard Nixon to suppress the growing black influence? It's a good question. Was the exodus of blue-collar, middle-class jobs purposely sanctioned to eventually usher in a two-class society of the very poor and the super-rich owner class? Does Walmart and the intelligence community have a secret pact? If so, to what end is its purpose? Has global depopulation begun? If it hasn't, is the persistent poisoning of the ground, air, and water just coincidence? Do multinational corporations want to control every aspect to life, including air, water, and food? Well, it seems that they do. If yes, why are governments the world over allowing this to happen? Is a universal stipend the only solution to mass job loss brought about by automation? Knowing this, why are companies secretly rushing towards total automation with complete abandonment? Which begs the question, if current consumers lose their jobs, who will be the future consumers for the goods and services brought about by automation? Will an interruption in food delivery or the power grid be survivable if it drags on for more than 2 weeks? I don't know, but I don't want to find that out. Could a populist uprising be allowed to grow and take hold without punitive measures enacted by the state to thwart it? Think lockdown, so no, they won't allow that. Do police and politicians take their sworn oath to protect the Constitution seriously? Some. Is anyone in any capacity looking out for the common man? No one of big influences, that's for sure. Is the traditional moral fabric of the American family a relic of a bygone era? If so, what has replaced it? And the true question, why is it threatening? Middle class, two-parent family, now enemy number one? How did we get here? Is there a coming thought police and social credit score to identify and punish enemies of the state? Would this include being a patriot? Well, it certainly looks like that thought police is here. Will non-lethal weapons be the answer to unwelcome protests? Has this already happened? I believe it has. Do internment camps exist within the Homeland Security apparatus? Scary thought. What are the true powers of FEMA? Do we really want to find out? Why did the federal government, through its various agencies purchase so much ammunition? Why are there supposedly stacks of temporary coffins stacked and stored? What calamity might they be expecting? Good question. Could it be as benign as a currency collapse, or something so incomprehensibly shocking they can't even hint of its reality as to cause full panic? Alien invasion, maybe? Would the public turn in its weapons if ordered by the state? Was New Orleans during Katrina the test of this scenario? Would martial law be obeyed if ordered by local and federal government? Was Boston during the marathon bombing a test of that scenario? The mayor of Boston, I believe it was. Are various checkpoints such as sobriety and immigration designed to condition the public that Fourth Amendment rights is optional by those in authority? Yes, definitely. We're being conditioned that checkpoints are A-OK. Has there been a quickening to usher in a one-world government? Or is it a myth and we should trust government's intentions blindly? Yeah. Can we trust official truth as it's presented to us? Ditto. Are there two tracks of truth? One in the white world that is espoused by academia and its agencies, and another in the unacknowledged black world of special access programs and their contractors that is rumored to be 30 years ahead of the white world, which opens the question, is some or all of official truth just elegant propaganda? Can we really trust it? I don't trust it. Does the government secretly monitor radiation levels in the soil, air, and water? Are there anomalies orbiting the Earth not acknowledged by space agencies? Has there been previous advanced civilization whose proof is kept hidden? Does the Smithsonian Institute hold skeletons of giant humans? Why would that be kept secret? Do people in high office and influence publicly ridicule mystics and psychics, but in private utilize them to guide their lives? Think of Mrs. Reagan. Is creating a bubble with the intention of devaluing it to buy assets at pennies on the dollar the true way fortunes are made at the expense of the small investors? Think of derivatives. Is this method, in addition to funding both sides of major wars, how families such as the Rockefellers make and grow their wealth? Has this method been utilized from at least Napoleon's time? Well, if you look at overpaying for real estate, like a $400,000 house in some markets, you have to pay an extra $250,000, or, you know, big hedge funds are buying them. Yeah, this is designed to create an owner class, and if you're not super rich, they don't want you to join that owner class. Is voting the biggest con ever conceived? I believe it was. Will the poor ever truly get fed up with a charade of a ticket of choice, Republican, Democrat? None of them ever take on the big things such as the Federal Reserve, the military, intelligence community, the big ones. So neither party really touch those sacred cows, the mass media. Would this lift the veil of the soft fascism control grid that many believe is the true power of this country, or are we just paranoid and deep down the powers that be have our best interests at heart? I wish they did. Why do major events have logic and evidence problems as far as the official narrative is concerned? Think 9/11, think COVID-19. If everything can't be a lie, what is true? Space exploration, for example, you want it to be real. I really want it to be real. But why is there always something suspicious in the filming and the technology? Real events are open to scrutiny and can survive the scrutiny. I can't imagine 50 years of space exploration could survive an open inspection. Can you? If it's all real, why don't we openly audit it and celebrate it properly for the achievement? Good question. Is the public school system designed to produce a permanent underclass whose function it is to vote properly and fill menial jobs and have low expectations? I think we can, comfortably say yes on that one. Do certain segments of the government encourage dependency to the detriment of their constituents? Yes. I know I'm mispronouncing constituents. Sorry, just can't get it out today. It's been said some would rule in a slum as long as it meant ruling. Would it be surprising if some of our current leaders felt this way? Suppressed inventions is a term relatively few people have heard of. Even fewer understand its full impact on society. Most people don't realize, for example, we could use water as a replacement for fossil fuels for most applications, as well as plant-based alcohol. The obvious question becomes, does the fear of economic disruption keep us from evolving? Well, yeah, you're talking about trillion-dollar industries. They're not going to disrupt that unless they absolutely have to. Military and civilian pilots have reported anonymous phenomena in our air spaces for decades. Remember, I wrote this August 2019. If a official pronouncement ever comes that these phenomenon are from outside our technological capability and must be another civilization, what would that mean? We never really had to grapple with that, but it is a big question. What if it were learned that not only was our military aware of these phenomena, but we engaged our military towards them, which I believe has happened. We've shot at them. Secret pacts were struck and a blind eye was given to their abductions and experiments on us. Would we really be surprised to learn that? I wouldn't be, but maybe some true believers would be surprised. We would all love to trust our medical institutions and the pharmaceutical companies, but how can we, if they lobby for regulations that impede natural treatments from being accepted in the medical community? The glaring example of this practice was the forced exodus of the Hoxsey Clinic to Tijuana, Mexico in 1960, whose record of curing some cancers with natural methods was enviable. The war against hemp and cannabis to be used as treatments would be another, removed from pharmacies entirely by 1942. What could be the reasons for these actions if not greed and control? It's rumors that sitting presidents receive a briefing that keeps them from disclosing the real nature of our existence. Does this briefing exist? And if so, what is revealed and how are they threatened into silence about the information they're told? In light of recent revelations and events, it's a fair question to ask, who is the most powerful? The head of the CIA or the president? Are preparations being made to engineer a national emergency or an incident that would be perceived as supernatural? Think alien invasion again. Would we allow martial law to be enacted that is not in our interest to take place? How would we oppose it if we learned we were tricked? Was something discovered in Antarctica that prompted a treaty between nations in 1957? Does this relate to why rockets never go straight into space but arch? On the heels of the Antarctic excursions in the late 50s, born a project Fishbowl, which was high-altitude nuclear weapons research program. It speculated a dome was discovered in Antarctica that prevents us from traveling to outer space. In light of this, could the name Project Fishbowl hint of this reality? Is interdimensional travel or using a stargate the only way to leave Earth? What is space? We're told it's a vacuum, but what if it's a liquid? If nothing can be trusted, should we not employ a remote viewer to astro travel into space and view the Earth and relay what it looks like? Our guy to do that, not the government. Why is the mere act of plane travel a mystery? For example, a plane flies level for 6,000 miles, not dipping its nose once to circumvent the globe of the Earth, yet doesn't fly into space. It's assumed gravity prevents this, but what if it doesn't? The ISS space station has much in common with a submarine, both self-sustaining closed environments, but the space station seems to defy any of the difficulties that constantly occur on a submarine. Hatches, seals, pumps, recycling, air, and human waste, repairs that require parts or machining. This level of reliability and efficiency the space station enjoys should be studied and celebrated. One has to ask, why it isn't? The origin of religion seems to have a supernatural nexus. There appears to be a truth embargo on what the real nature of religion is, but considering what happened to the Russian cosmonauts on board the Soyuz 7 1984, in which 6 cosmonauts all saw 80-foot tall angels, with halos, wings, floating in space in a green hue near their station, does pose the question that if angels are real, what else is real? So that's what I wrote in 1984. I believe somehow my consciousness was able to travel into the future and inspire me to write these. So that's what I got. That's what I think. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.